The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
Good afternoon. You're tuned into Ability Matters, the program that covers matters to do with abilities, disabilities and everything in between. We are one of the longest running disability-related shows in the world, starting as Headway On Air all the way back in 2007 and now brought to you by My Home Living Care, an NDIS registered disability support organisation.
Yes, good afternoon. You're listening to Ability Matters on the Illawarra's favourite community radio station, 106.9 VOX FM. And, of course, I want to thank Lil for filling in for Tim through the past darkly, but I think your choice of music may have rivaled Tim's, but doesn't matter. That's my personal thing there, doesn't matter. Anyway, yes. Okay, well, let's get back to it. And I'm your host, of course, Tony Scotty, and with me, as per, not normal, but I've got...
Sean.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good way to present you what status I should give to you there. Our father, brainchild, something maybe? I don't know.
Producer maybe, I think, because I did the editing of the podcast, I guess. And
beautiful. Producer. Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, get that producer money, be good.
Lovely still. Okay, so what do we have happening today?
Today we've got a very interesting lady, Sheila Morris, who's come in to talk a little bit about her life and some of the interesting things, and we've just been talking a little bit. She's got some interesting things to talk about, especially around arthritis and some of the issues around living with that condition and the impacts and I guess the less than stellar response it tends to get from politicians and, you know, in terms of support and funding in the community. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
I think I'm just speaking my own little, what I picked up from watching different things like you just said then, like on the media and whatnot. I think a lot of it is just maybe treated as more old hat sort of thing.
Very minimised. Yeah.
Minimised.
That's one of the things we'll talk about. Yeah, it's sort of, you know, oh, you got arthritis, oh, you'll be fine. You know, it's not going to...
You'll get by, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's not like it's cancer or anything that's going to be a bit more fatal possibly, but the effects are very debilitating and we'll get into it.
Enduring, yes?
Yes, yeah.
Not to mention disheartening and... It's a big hand holding you in place. You can't move any further, and
yeah, holding you back. Definitely. That's actually what Sheila's going to talk about a little bit later on. So I might introduce her. Bring her on the microphone. Good morning, Sheila. Afternoon. Sorry, now it's 12 o'clock, isn't it?
Good afternoon.
How you going?
I'm doing well, thank you for the moment.
Cool. Welcome to Vox.
It's good to be here.
So we're going to talk about a couple of different things, but I'd like to start off with just let's peek a little bit behind the curtain and talk for a couple of minutes, and then maybe we'll play some music. That's all right, Tony?
As in right now?
No, we'll just talk a little bit about Sheila and just find out a little bit about Sheila, the person.
Lovely.
Tell me a little bit about Sheila. You grew up in England, I can tell by the accent.
No, I didn't actually grow up in England.
Oh, okay.
No, I was in England for a little while, and then my father joined the Royal Air Force. And in those days, where my father went, we went.
All over the world?
Singapore, Cyprus, Egypt, Malta.
Wow.
Yes, and it's Wales, Cornwall, all over the place. And I went to about 20 different schools, lived in 23 different houses, and it was an amazing life. It really was. And my mother took 4 of us all over the world, and when they say now, oh, I can't do this, my mother did everything. Right. She was a great woman.
And so where were you? Were the oldest, youngest, in the middle?
I was smack bang in the middle.
Okay.
I had a brother older who's passed. I have an older sister who's still alive, myself, my younger sister alive, and my younger brother.
Okay.
The baby's 80, so we're all in our 80s.
Oh, wow, okay. I was going to ask that question, but wouldn't have guessed it. I would have said at least 50.
I'm glad you had the fearlessness to come out and just put it on the spot. Enrich us all, listeners. Thank you.
And so where were you born?
I was actually born in London.
Okay.
But during the war, as you know, London copped it pretty badly.
Yes.
And we ended up in Cornwall. They were evacuated to Cornwall. And because my father joined the Royal Air Force in 1942, you know, it was more or less like men with no children, men not married, and then as it got on, men with children, and my dad went, and we just we just went with him, you know, and it was a different life. It was a totally different life. And then
was it enjoyable, or was it challenging, or both?
Oh, to my mother, it might have been challenging.
Yeah.
4 kids. I told my children if they ever grew up like I did, I don't think they'd seen their 12th year, because we were naughty kids. but we had a wonderful life. Yeah. I've seen the pyramids, and I've swum in the Suez Canal, and done all that kind of thing.
And when did you move to Australia?
My husband and I came over with 2 daughters in 1970.
Okay.
And I had my son afterwards. So that, and they've done very well. I'm proud of all 3 of my children. They've all done extremely well. So,
do they still live in Australia, or they've moved overseas, or they?
No. My son is principal of a high school.
Oh, okay.
Down at Bomaderry. My daughter has been with Wollongong City Council for 30-odd years, maybe 37 years, something like that.
Okay.
And my middle daughter works in aged care, doing that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
very interesting. And you're telling me you've been involved with soccer and a few different things, or football, I guess I should call it.
Yes, it was soccer when I was there. My son decided that he wanted to play, and I used to take him, because my husband was a shift worker at the steelworks at the time, and I used to take him, and I got so involved, I ended up being on the committees. I was president of Warilla Wanderers Juniors, and I ended up becoming on the committee of South Coast, is it now? Football South Coast.
They're called? Yeah. They're called Illawarra Football?
It was the Illawarra Junior Soccer Association.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I loved it. And I still don't mind soccer. My son is still very much involved in soccer, of course, but I loved it. It was different. You know, I'm what they call a perpetual volunteer.
Yes, you call yourself a professional volunteer.
Yes.
That sounds like a bit of tautology, isn't it? Because volunteers are often unpaid. But
yes, I did 17 years, both on committees as a brown owl and then as a member of the auxiliary. You know,
a brown owl. What's that?
A brown owl is with young brownies.
Oh, Girl Guides and Brownies.
Girl Guides and Brownies.
Yeah.
I did 12 years at Windang School in the canteen, and 12 years at Port Kembla High School in the canteen, and I've done 22 years now. I've been involved with arthritis. I've been secretary for, I think it's 14 years.
That's the Warilla Shellharbour
Arthritis Branch.
Okay, interesting.
So
you've brought a lot of skills and knowledge and experience to the different roles you've done.
Well, I think I learn as much as I give. You know, I think you learn all the time. You can never stop learning, and I enjoy it. This is new to me, and I'm quite happy sitting here. I don't know how other people feel. Maybe they're all like this, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So that it is.
I've got a bit of a personal thing. I think, you know, like you never stop learning, and that's when you do stop learning is when you kind of stop living. You know, you got to always be. You know, you've obviously people got experiences and you know things that you've learned over time, but you've also got to have that open mind and keep learning and keep moving.
Oh yes.
It's a bit
keep going.
A bit boring, I feel.
You can't afford not to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a very good teacher who's sitting in the room with us that has taught me that nothing's impossible.
That's the elephant in the room, I guess we could call him. It's Len. What's Len's surname?
Snowden,
that's right, I forgot. Yeah, he was, if you go back through our podcast, if you go on Ability Matters on Spotify or YouTube, we interviewed Len about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and he's a very interesting gentleman. Had a bit of a tangle with a train a few years ago, and just kept pushing forward and has done some amazing things, a bit like you, a bit of a professional volunteer as well, with lots of different...
He's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
He has taught me a lot, and he's taught me that nothing's impossible and you can always have a go at something, and he's taught me all sorts of gadgets, because the disability of arthritis means that you lose parts of your limbs that you can't use anymore, and Lynn just takes me up and says, have a try at this, Sheila. Have a go at that, and we do all right between us.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go to music in a second, but definitely go back through our back catalogue and look out for Len Snowden's interview a little while ago. Very, very interesting indeed.
It was indeed.
Tony, you got some music there for us?
Of course I do. No.
I should also mention Tony's had a bit of a procedure on his tongue today, so he's not talking as much as
That's probably the reason why. Even when I do talk, it's a little bit not 100%. You can probably hear it as I'm speaking right now, so yeah. Bear with me if you can, listeners. Thank you. My music's still up and running, don't worry. I got here, I'm going to open up with a Fats Domino, Blueberry Hill, 1956. It was released. And yes, that was just the Platters, of course, with Only You from 1956. That was a 56 double, actually. Blueberry Hill and Only You from 1956. There you go. And what's next, guys?
Well, Sheila was just saying the Platters are one of the first albums that her mum bought back in the day.
It was. I was 16 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
LP, was it?
Yes.
Vinyl, lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, one of the first LPs.
It's one of the good things of Vox, one of the very long list of good things at Vox, the fantastic music that gets played.
Oh, yes.
So, all right.
My
So,
age music.
yes, yeah, that's a wide variety of stuff. I know people probably don't know, I don't know, but I do Thursday morning breakfast show and I play music between the 40s and the 2000s and, yeah, really enjoy playing the wide range of music and, it's a very good privilege that we're not just stuck and playing the same 10 songs all day like a lot of other radio stations.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been talking a little bit about, the young Sheila and growing up and, all those sorts of things. So you're obviously here today on Ability Matters, because we've got something to do with abilities and disabilities and everything in between. So let's talk a little bit about the condition that you're here for today, arthritis. So how does it affect you and how long has it affected you? Can you give me a little bit more detail about that?
It's affected me a lot because I was diagnosed 52 years ago at 32 and it steadily gets worse. There's no cure and you go from one form of arthritis to 2 to 3 to 4. I've got 3. At the moment, the most painful is definitely the ankylosing spondylitis, which is the back, the spine. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can take medications, but I do hydrotherapy twice a week to help. But it's a crippling, painful disease, and it's classified as a chronic disease, and yet it's not recognised as any disease. It's just arthritis.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Sorry, I'm just saying, so arthritis is where you have a degeneration of the cartilage between the bones? Is that the one?
If you have osteoarthritis.
Yes.
But that's only one of the 140-odd types.
Wow.
There's 140 types, wow.
Children have arthritis. Children have crippling arthritis.
So it's not just for the older types?
No, children are born and they keep it all their life. And how?
Wow.
I mean, I know the pain I go through. How do you explain to an 18-month-old baby or a 2-year-old, well, you've got arthritis? And know that at this moment, I'm not sure if there's any research being done on it. I know that we get very little from the government, very little.
How many people are affected by arthritis? Do you know any of those sorts of statistics?
Yes, I do. I know that there are about 4 million in Australia have it. I know that in New South Wales, I think there's 10,000 children.
So it's about 1 in 8 people in Australia, roughly. 1 in 8 or 9 people have
it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have it and they get told, oh, don't worry, you just got arthritis. And that's it. That's the catchword. You're just arthritis.
It's become that much of a mandatory thing that can be easily brushed off. It's like, oh, it's just arthritis, don't worry. You'll get over it. You'll sleep on it, don't worry.
And yet the hours of work that are lost because of it, and the amount of schooling that children can lose because they can't go to school, we really try to... Our branch raises money for children. It's too big for one branch to cover adults, far too big. But because when they go to camp, they can't just go to a school camp. They go somewhere where the equipment helps them. There's a masseur there, there's a doctor there, there's nurses available, and
the support to enjoy the camp and not
just to say that they're the same as every other child.
Yeah, So with your arthritis, how does it affect you? Is it something that's worse in the morning? Is there certain positions or stretches or times a day?
To me, it's a 24-hour thing at the moment. I go to bed in pain. I get up in pain. I'm actually sitting here in pain.
Yeah.
And some people are like me, where I can't take any medications. I can't take the normal medications that you take for painkillers. I can't take morphine and Lyrica and all those kinds of things. So I have to manage on what I have.
How do you manage? What do you do?
Panadol Osteo.
Okay.
I'm just
is the one at the moment.
One question straight away is, why can't you take those painkillers that you just mentioned earlier?
Because I'm allergic to most of them.
Oh, allergies.
And I'm not alone. I'm not alone because a lot of people are allergic to the drugs that they're serving out these days. Not for any of it. It's not because they're not good. It's just that your body says, no, you're not taking them.
I guess there are side effects with morphine and being kind of a bit, knocked out a little bit, or, a bit sort of lethargic. Or
with me, in one case, it was trying to take something off a table that wasn't even there in a hospital in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And it was because of the medication I was taking.
Yeah. And so is there medication you can take for the actual condition itself?
No.
Okay.
You can take anti-inflammatories. There are anti-inflammatories.
Yes.
There are also, in some cases it works, you have the needles, the cortisone needles. I've had radio frequency in the back. It's not worked.
I don't know if this is something current but I still remember when I was a young fella, people wearing copper bracelets or something. Was that a bit of a...
I can't say it ever worked with me.
Okay.
So it was more of an old wives' tale for you, yeah?
But, no, it just didn't work with me. I'm not saying it didn't work. It just didn't work with me. And it's very difficult. Magnets I can't have because I have AF.
What's that?
Atrial fibrillation of the heart.
What does that mean?
So I wear a pacemaker.
Oh, okay, right.
So
understood.
That affects it. So, but the arthritis is one of those diseases that you can't see anything, and people look at me and say, "Oh, you look well."
It's one of those hidden diseases.
Yeah, hidden disability, just like it's brain injury. Thank you.
It's very much a hidden disease, and it's a disease that even politicians don't recognise, don't want to recognise.
I've got to say, it's one of those things that everyone seems to know about, but it is very minimised. It's not, I guess, I don't know, for want of a word, one of those sexy kind of diseases. When I say that, I'm being a bit of a joke, making light of it, where brain cancer and things like that, where the fundraising happens and people do all these kinds of funny stunts and things. It does seem to be very minimised and kind of largely ignored.
The money that is worked for arthritis is minimal, and it's amazing what the office in Sydney do manage to get through, because of the fact of lack of funding.
An oily rag, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all manage on the smell of an oily. We volunteer, which means that with our branch, we put very, very little. We take little out and put a lot in. It's even paper and ink and things like that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, ink, just printing and having sort of a website or a Facebook page. It takes a lot of time to
manage,
to give out information.
Create, maintain. Yes.
Well, I do the web page.
Yep.
And I do a lot of the paperwork simply because I'm not capable physically of doing any more. There are a lot of people that really do volunteer for us. They do. And we hold stalls to help the children. The money goes to the children all the time. But it's not just me. I'm just one person.
How many people are there, like the committee of the...
Our committee is 7 people.
Okay.
But we're all getting old, but we cannot get younger people to come and take our place. The branches and the groups are closing down because it's just considered, it's just one of those things you don't do. It's just difficult to get people to take our places.
So we'll give out some contact details later on and how to be part of the Warilla Shellharbour Arthritis. Hopefully there's some people out there who can join in, and it's one of those things, isn't it? Many hands make light work. The more people there are, the more things that can be done. And
Well, we're the only branch now in the Illawarra from Sydney to the Victorian border.
So do you cover that area? Do you support people in that area?
We cover as many as we can. We're open to anybody from all of Wollongong. Shellharbour, Kiama, we have people come up from Gerringong because there just isn't anywhere else for them to go. And we talk to one another, and it's, I think, just talking to somebody that's in the same situation you're in makes you feel that little bit better when you go home. You think, well, I'm not alone anymore.
Yeah, I'm not alone. I can actually share my heartache. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like we talked about this a little bit before we come on air, but being in constant pain would obviously affect your social life and your willingness to go out. And I'm sure there's things like depression and mental health sort of effects as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think depression is a main thing, and it's also if you're alone. There's an awful lot of widows out there, and just going shopping. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky with my family. I can't fault them, but not everybody's as lucky as me. And I thank my children mentally. I probably don't thank them enough verbally, but I thank them mentally every time that they do something for me, and they do. I mean, there's a lot of things I couldn't do without Len helping me. Even getting here today was Len talking to me.
Len's taxi service brought you here?
Len's taxi service brought me here, yes.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah, all right.
I think you wanted a song earlier. Was it Johnny Mathis, The 12th of Never?
Yes, just to annoy my children, thank you.
Beautiful.
A special song for Sheila, and I think her children have heard it once or twice before, is that?
I think they have.
Well, here you go. This is Johnny Mathis, The 12th of Never, as per Sheila's request.
Thank you.
If you enjoy, here we go. All right, so that last song I just played for you then was The Contours, or more specifically it was Chubby Checker, with the song titled Do You Love Me Now That I Can Dance, from 1962. There you go.
Bit of rock and roll music selection today so far.
Yes.
You always have great music, Tony. It's always good to listen to. It's a shame when we do the podcast we've got to cut the music out because we don't have licensing rights, but I do feel bad when I edit it and take the music out. But that's a good reason to tune in every Tuesday from 12 to 1.
Better reason, yes.
Yes.
It's always better live, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So we talked a little bit about it, the Warilla Shellharbour Arthritis Branch. What are some of the things that they do? What, fundraisers or support services? Or
Yes, we do fundraising. We do talk to people at our meetings, cup of tea, biscuit, that kind of thing.
How often are the meetings?
They're every third Thursday at the month at a Warilla Bowling Club at 1:30.
On a Thursday?
Every third Thursday.
Every third Thursday of the month, okay.
Yes. And it's just a casual thing to get together so that people realise that they're actually not alone.
Yep.
And they can come and we can talk to them. We don't talk about medications or anything like that, but we usually talk about things that make us laugh.
Okay.
If possible, we can get a guest speaker, but unfortunately they're becoming rarer to get for us because we haven't the finances to pay them. So it's voluntary. And we run, or I don't, but we have a group of ladies that run bus trips. So we have a bus trip a couple of times a year. We're lining up for Christmas in July. That's coming up on the 23rd of July.
So like a social sort of a...
It's a buffet lunch and raffle and lucky door prizes and games that we all think this game, but we all have a lovely laugh and fun and enjoy ourselves.
So they're timeless games, but they're just fun when you play them all together with the right people, yeah?
I think it's just... People enjoy doing that kind of thing if they're not alone, if they can come in. And it's open to anybody. You don't have to be a member to come.
Okay.
You can come at any time. You can come to the meetings. You can come to the luncheons. We're not having a coach trip in October this year because we're having the big seminar, which we really are going to plug later on more, as time goes on. But it's just to say... Yes, I have arthritis and I can walk in this room and I'm not alone.
Hold my head up high and proud.
I'm not alone. I have this one. The person I'm talking to might have a totally different one, but the pain situation is exactly the same. The depression is exactly the same. And the let's get out of the house is exactly the same. So that...
just for the sake of getting out there and feeling alive, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Like you say, we're not really talking about arthritis, but talking about fun stuff and other things and getting away from it a little bit.
That's right.
People with common interest, but getting away from that as well.
And lots of people have ideas and they say, well, how about you try this or how about you try that? Hydrotherapy.
So it's more of a community too,
I swear by hydrotherapy.
Yes?
I love hydrotherapy.
So for those that don't know, what is hydrotherapy?
Hydrotherapy is where you go, we do ours at Shellharbour Private Hospital. We're trying to get more pools in the area at the moment for warm water exercises. And you usually have a hydrotherapist, exercise physiologist, I think they call them now, in the water with you, giving you specific exercises for your specific problem.
Yes.
So we don't all stand there and put our arms up at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So sort of like group aerobics, but everyone's doing their own separate things.
They're doing what they need to do for their back or their shoulder or their knees or...
So it's individual therapy, but in a group.
But in a group of people.
Wow.
And obviously the water supports your body, so it makes it easier to do the stretches.
It's so much easier.
Makes it possible at all in some cases.
Yes, it's, and it's something that... and it's amazing that hospitals these days, the private hospital is the only hospital in the Illawarra that has a pool.
I've noticed this as well, because I work a lot with people with disability, and there used to be a lot of hydrotherapy options around, but there's less and less.
Less and less.
And more private ones, which obviously the cost is, quite difficult sometimes.
Well, the cost is not as difficult if you're a member of My Aged Care or you've got private health cover, but the average pensioner doesn't have those kinds of things. And yes, it is, but Arthritis do run a scheme where they cover the cost of 50% of, like, they pay a percentage and the person pays a percentage, which cuts it down for them.
Who is that? Arthritis New South Wales?
Arthritis New South Wales.
Oh, how do you get to be part of that?
Well, you just contact Arthritis New South Wales on 9857 3300.
All right, so we'll say that number again at the end. That's Arthritis New South Wales.
And they will put you to the warm water exercises, people who will talk to you.
And can they tell you where to go as well? Have they got a list of places?
Yes, there are a few places. We know that there's a place in Rosemont Street in Wollongong.
Yes.
At the moment, we've got fingers in a pie that we're hoping to get a couple more pools, but until that eventuates, we won't sort of say too much about it. There are other places that have warm water, but I feel uncomfortable doing exercises if I haven't got somebody to say to me, you've done the wrong thing.
Yes.
To guide you, yes.
You shouldn't be doing that one for your...
you don't want to make it worse, just, because you're enthusiastic.
Ankle or your back or your...
Or more, you shouldn't be doing that one there. It's the right exercise, but you shouldn't be doing it like that.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very good, the physiotherapists, where you sort of hold tension in this bit, or you bend over to the side rather than forwards, or activating different muscles sort of thing.
It's just that everyone is so different that they come along and they give you different exercises for your, and people don't realise the amount of money that it costs the government for replacement joints. I've got 2 artificial hips, 1 artificial shoulder, 1 artificial knee. This costs money to the government. And if they could do the preventative things to start with...
Prevention's way better than the cure.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's unfortunately doesn't always add up in the government accounting books. They go, well, what's this money? But when you look at it, saves 10 times the amount, let alone people's lives and pain and all those sorts of improvements as well. But sometimes the government just tend to focus on the cost of things, and it's an investment rather. It's a little bit off the topic, but the National Disability Insurance Scheme, I think, should have been called the National Disability Investment Scheme, because that was part of the thing, is to work with people when they're younger and get strategies for communication, or get therapies and things like that, so they don't end up needing more support later on. And no one gets excited about insurance. It's not a very
and it's an expensive, even a walker.
Yes.
And walkers, various things that you need. But as I say, Lennon showed me how to get some cheaper things.
Yeah.
And he's going to come and talk to us at the seminar about it.
Yeah.
Where you can go and get them, instead of paying $12 and $14 for something that opens a jar up at such and such a place, you can get it in the $2 shop or Kmart or...
Jar opener, is that what you mean? Yeah.
It's just simple things.
And walkers are expensive, but if you're out and you're active and exercising, then that's going to save money later on in terms of your fitness and health, and some of the effects of being not being able to get out, let alone the mental health effects as well. So people might think walkers are expensive, but it's actually an investment because it saves money later on. So it's...
that one is 6 years old and it was $600. I think if I get 10 years out of it, if I get 10 years out of it, then I can't complain.
Yeah,
it's great. So we're talking a little bit about this seminar. Tell me more about this seminar.
It's a seminar to try and bring attention to people about arthritis. We're hoping to get people to come and talk. As I say, we've got Len coming. We've got the lady who's the allied health manager at Shellharbour Private Hospital. She said she'll come and bring a occupational therapist with her, because even teaching people how to sit in a chair properly. Old people and young people don't realise that the way they sit in a chair can make a lot of difference.
Indeed.
So they're coming along to talk to us. We're hoping to get a few others. Anna Watson has offered to come. To be honest, Anna is behind us 100%.
She's very supportive?
Very supportive of us, yes, very.
That's good when you've got
which we're very lucky.
Yeah, it's good to have someone that pulls a few of the strings around town to...
She's a lovely lady, and she'll I know that she does everything she can for us.
So I'm assuming the other politicians, if they like to come along, are invited, all the other kind of decision makers around town?
They've been invited. We've had one decline and one not answer yet.
Okay, well, there you go, guys and girls. The invitation's there to come along. And how long's the seminar going to plan to go for?
Well, it's starting at 10 and it's being run between mainly by the Sydney Management Group, and I think they've allocated it to go, really, I suppose, as long as it needs to, but not right through till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. So I'm guessing there'll be a couple of hours or an hour or so of presentations, but then time after people can hang around and ask questions.
People can talk, ask questions. Yes. And it's just the awareness. That's the main thing we want to do, is get the awareness of arthritis and the awareness of the fact that it's such a miserable disease.
Yeah, and very common, very pervasive and but very much under kind of played and unknown.
And it's and I've often wondered to myself how many people actually living in aged care facilities are in there because they can't help themselves anymore because they've got arthritis.
Yeah, and so that's on October 24th.
24th.
At the Warilla Bowls and Recreation Club at Jason Avenue in Barrack Heights.
That's right.
And how do people register for that?
They can contact Sydney on that number, that 9857 3300.
Okay.
Or they can contact myself, and I'm happy to talk to anybody, on 429 61340 or 0407 961340.
Okay. I'll get those
to repeat those again. So
we'll get them in a second. I will put them on the I put little notes about the podcast,
yes.
And so we'll put them there as well. We'll read them out a little bit as well. And
there's no cost to come to the seminar.
Cost. Yep.
That's always a big attraction. It's free, everybody. So.
If they'd like to give us a little bit of a donation as they go through, we're quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think you should be hitting people up for a gold coin donation or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Something that where they can say, well, we'll help towards.
I'm here, and I like what you're doing, so.
Or even better, come along and join the committee and put your shoulder to the wheel with all the other volunteers.
Well, the last one we had was 10 years ago, and we had over 220 people there.
Fantastic.
We'd really like to break that record.
Yeah.
We'd really like to see more than 200 there this time. And there are certainly more than 200 people in the Illawarra with arthritis. Southern Islands, Nowra.
Yeah, well, 1 in 8 people, 1 in 9 people. There's 500,000 people around this area. You're looking at.
That's exactly right.
Thousands and thousands of people affected by it. And then, obviously, there's kids, parents, husbands, wives, relatives, lots of other people that are, maybe not suffering with the effects of it, but they're definitely affected by it.
Well, the parents need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have arthritis yourself, how do you explain it to a child? Counsellors can help them. And on the camps that the little ones go to, because up to 8 years old go with parents, there is a counsellor there that talks to the parents.
I've had a lot to do with carers over the years, and there is that sort of, like you expect things from your children, and obviously with the effects of these sorts of things, and it holds the children back, and it can be very devastating for parents. And
they miss a lot of school.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
But let's just break up the speech for a bit. Let's just play one or two songs for now. I've got The Doors, Hello, Love You. Hello, I Love You from 1968.
Just make sure you grab a pen and piece of paper because we'll go through those numbers after this.
Yes. And yes, that of course was the Beach Boys with Kokomo from 1988, just to change things up a bit. And now we're getting straight back into it with Sheila and
Sean, the Sheila and Sean show. There's a T-shirt. I guess we're sort of hitting the home stretch now. What's the message you hope to achieve from today? Or what do you hope people take away from listening to you today?
I hope people take away with not accepting being told you just have arthritis. Pressure your doctor. If you have a doctor that says you've just got arthritis, pressure anybody that turns around and says you'll get over it. If it's your children or your parent or whatever, or even the neighbour next door, you've just got arthritis.
You can live with it.
Having had it for 52 years, there is no such thing as just arthritis.
Yeah.
So
and there's things that can be done, hydrotherapy, and
there are things can be done, and there are medications,
managements. Yes.
And it's a controllable disease
yes.
to a degree. It's not a curable disease. But it's controlled. And I think if people think that way, and if they realise how many people have arthritis, they're not alone.
Yes. And that can often be just a source of comfort, knowing that there's other people going through the same struggles and probably have learnt lessons that you can benefit from outside of medications and therapies and things like that. But,
even just going for lunches. Yeah. I mean, we go for a lot of lunches just to have a laugh and a talk.
Very social, yes?
Yes.
Lovely.
Be as social as you can be.
Yes. Don't let it...
and don't let a walker stop you.
Don't hide at home.
Don't stop anything stop you.
Get out there and do it.
Yeah,
fantastic. What a great message. All right, so I'll go through those numbers. So we've got the Sydney Arthritis New South Wales. Got your pens ready, is 9857 3300. The Wollongong connection, it's actually Sheila's number. She's willing to talk to people about it. It's 4296 1340. That's the landline, and mobiles, if you can do that, is 0407 961 340. And if you Google Illawarra Arthritis, you'll find the Illawarra Branch's Arthritis and Osteoporosis New South Wales Facebook page, and all the details of the seminar and all the great work they do will be up there. So if you're dealing with arthritis and you'd like some support, or if you'd like to support others with arthritis, do call those numbers or find the Facebook page. Anything else? Have I missed anything, Sheila?
No, it was very, very good of you to have me here and to let me explain.
Absolute pleasure.
So it's just so nice that somebody listens and understands.
Well, helping you spread the message.
This is lovely. Thank you.
Well, not a problem. It goes two ways. We're very appreciative of you coming in today and spending your time with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Ta-ta, everyone.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Sheila. Bye-bye. Thank you.